Hello, my fellow Lord of the Rings fans and Voice of the Rings members. I'm your host and guide, Zolan Ironshield, and welcome to another quick tutorial video on a LOTRO guide playlist series on Voice of the Rings. I would like to quickly talk to you guys about abilities. This will be a very simple video for people that are brand new to the game. If you are not brand new to the game, you won't need this. If you want more stuff on combat and more advanced technique things and stuff, check out my basic combat and advanced combat videos that I will link over there somewhere at the end of this video. And don't forget to subscribe and like the videos though, guys. That really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Your fellow dwarves, it really helps us out. And we like elves and hobbits and humans here as well. We like everybody. Alright, so quickly about abilities. So as you level up through the game in Lord of the Rings Online, you do quests and you level up. You'll get these abilities on your thing, right? Right now, mine are grayed out because for one, the first thing you need to know is you have to have a weapon equipped, right? So equip a weapon, you go to your inventory, which is literally when you click I, or you can click one of your little inventory pouches down here at the bottom. See where I'm clicking? All right, down there. That's right here. And then you go and you find your weapon. You know, I use an axe usually. And then I'm also going to put on my bow here. Where did I put my bow? I actually don't know where my bow is. There it is. All right. And I've got my bow and I've got my axe. See him on my back there? Look at that giant scary. It's very scary. But all right, moving on. The reason I am actually here in the beautiful starting area of the humans, well, they got attacked, but we're in Archit, right? So this is my main character. We're in Archit. I was looking for a training dummies we could practice on. Yay! Because we can get hit a lot and it won't die. Ho 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 ho. All right. So basically what we do is first thing we need to know at basic combats I talk about fighting. We're basically focusing on your abilities. So if you click character, or C, this button or C, and then you go to this one called skills right here. It brings up this panel. This is where you can drag your abilities onto your bar, right? That you'll learn over time. As you level up, you'll get new abilities. If you click escape and you go to options, this is a good thing for everybody to know. Go to quick slots button and make sure this is locked or unlocked, depending on if you want to move set. So if it's unlocked, you can move things, right? So I could drop it off my screen and then it's not there anymore. But I want that on there, right? So I would go into my inventory, I'd find the ability, or into C, I go to my skills and I drag it down and put it onto my skill bar, wherever I want it. You can rearrange your skills, all that kind of stuff. But then once I'm done with that, I like to go into options and I like to lock the quick start bars so they can't be dragged off and fall off in mid-combat, because that is bad when you're like, I just forgot how to swing my axe. That would be bad in a fight. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Okay, so how to do it. The basic combat video talks about this. I want to talk to you about your abilities. So you just left click on things to target them normal. If you right click on them and you're close enough, if you're a melee, you will automatically start hitting them. These are regular autos. That is this button here, this sword button, right? So I can turn this off and on by clicking the sword too. See, so I'm just targeted it. If I click this again, it'll start autoing over and over. I'll just be hua, hua, hua. I'm just autoing it, right? Over and over and over. Hua, hua. Just autoing the thing till it dies, okay? So that is basically how you do basic autos, right? But we're talking about abilities. So the first thing you need to know is just hover your abilities, right? So I'm just going to hover this ability as a guardian, right? We're talking about guardians here. Abilities are all going to have a certain info on them. So first thing you have to know is obviously their name. That's self-explanatory. It says it's a fast ability. It says this is a melee ability. So it's not going to have a very far range. Range in this game, it says its range there on the right is 5.2 meter range. So for example, if you're clicked on a target and I back up, watch when this will suddenly change. So it's actually got a decent range, right? I guess it's thinking that I'm going to swing the axe at a ridiculous range, right? So it seems a little unrealistic with the range right there, but that's okay. See, I went into using my bow. So right there, I'm out of range. So that's 5.2 meters, right? Right there. So I can't actually hit it now. If I click it, it's going to say too far away, right? So that's good to know about ranges. Different abilities like this one, let fly. If I click this, I'll pull my bow out, and it's 30 meters. So I can keep, see, this doesn't have a little like cancel, but there's a little button, see, that says I can't, see, there's a little thing that right here, it's real tiny, but it's saying you can't click this item right now. It's too far away. And it'll say too far away up here, right? So, but this one is still, I'm still within, it says I still can with 30 meters, so I can pull my bow out. Shoot at with my bow, right? And then again with auto attacking is a certain range. With autos, there's a certain spot where you're, as this character, I would stop autoing probably, or maybe not. Yeah, see, too far away, but my ability could still shoot because it's farther than my autos for my bow. Now I'm not a ranged unit. freaking hunters, they could shoot much farther. They could go 40 meters. They could be way back there and be shooting at this thing, right? They're like super human, elf, dwarf, hobbit, whoever's being a hunter. They're really good with shooting, right? So range is important to know. Again, let's hover our skill. So it's got strength and defense as a brief description, right? So basically it says it does a certain amount of damage, which is the red. It uses your main hand damage, right? So some people, like burglars, will have dual wielding. It'll have two different red numbers, and one will say main hand and one will say offhand, which means you have your main hand ability and your offhand if you're dual wielding two different knives. So that's good to know. Then it gives me, for me, it says it actually gives me a buff there in that green. So when I use this ability, I actually get a little buff under my name here. See, I get the Guardian's Pledge ability, and that gives me, and what it says it gives me is parry, block, some other stuff for 10 seconds. And it costs 166 power, which is the blue bar, and it costs 3 and then it has a cooldown of 3 seconds. All right, so that's everything you really need to know. They'll explain that. So now you know all those means. Cooldown means you can't use it more than once every 3 seconds. Mana cost is my blue bar. This is different for like champions have a rage bar. There'll be like a rage thing that builds up around your auto attack thing that certain abilities won't be able to use until you use your other abilities to build up that rage bar. But they never run out of mana, which is, or actually, no, I take that back. They still use mana too. Champions still use mana too. There's other characters though that I think most people in the game use mana. I'm trying to think if anyone doesn't. Bjornings are the only ones that don't use mana. If they have a rage bar, they fill up. Champions still use mana, but they still use a rage bar upgrade. Rune keepers have a little like atonement thing where they get either more healing ability or more damaging abilities depending on what they're using. So these are all good things to know. We're definitely just focusing on the abilities. So how to use abilities, right? That's a really simple video. We're almost done with it. So again, we can read all these, what these different abilities do. For example, this one says it's a 5.2 meter range, and it says it always apply an attack that impairs the target on a critical hit or attacking from behind. So I'm behind the target, it will always do the slow and impair hit, right? It'll always do it. But if I crit, even if I'm in front of him, it said, because remember, regular damage looks like that, and whenever it gets big, see how the number got big? Whenever it does that big flash, you know that's a critical hit. Keep watching. So it's regular crit. See that crit? The number different change? And then a devastating crit's even better. That's really rare to do. But watch, occasionally it'll say devastate. So that's normal. Devastate, that was a major crit. And then a normal crit. Alright? So those are good things to know with when you're using your abilities, what they're doing, if they're critting. So that just crit twice and hit really hard. Alright? Some abilities will heal you. Like for example, this one says that it's immediate. It's a skill type heal. Heals myself. You're able to restore a pound of your health and mana back. Alright, this one requires me to do a block and parry response, which means the Guardians have a special, every character has a couple special unique things with their abilities where they can't use an ability until something happens, an action. For example, all these ones up here, they only work in the breathing one if you have a parry response. A parry response means you block or parry someone attacking you, but also there's certain abilities that can open this. For example, Force Open actually says on it, any skill that are based on a successful parry response may now be played. So it actually will, even without parrying anything, I can activate my other skills by using this one. So if I use this one, look and see now all these ones light up, so I can use these two. And this one opens the ability to use these two. And when I use that one, I can now use this one to the king. And they all say that. They all say in the description what they need to be used. So there's things you have to learn with your skills, in what orders you have to use your skills and stuff. So this is important to know. So there's a little bit of a... you have to know your patterns. I like to call them patterns of your skills. This is good for guardians. This is good for burglars, rune keepers. Everyone's going to have patterns in their skills you have to learn over time. But it's easy because you won't have this many skills to start with like I do on max level. You only have like 5 or 6, and you can learn them as you go, as you level up. Read each skill and see what it takes and what it needs. So these are all the things you'll need to learn when you're doing skills. I hope this video helps you guys out who are really just brand new to the game. This was actually requested by someone who wants to play the game. But that doesn't really play video games. So they were like, can you do a really basic video on knowing how to do abilities? And it's a good question because, you know, for us people who've played video games for our whole life, we totally we catch on to these things really fast. But for someone who's brand new, this is overwhelming, this stuff with clicking buttons. Again, another way you can do it down here at the bottom is once you left click on a target or right click with your mouse, you could also click tab to click the closest target, right? If you want to use your keyboard. tab, and then you could tab again to click another target near it. See, it bounces between the two targets. I'm not left clicking them. Or you can left click them with your mouse. Or right click them to start attacking you if you're close enough, if you're melee. Also, range right click will start attacking them, right? But it's good to know this stuff. Okay, alright, now it's trying to attack me back. It's trying to attack me. See, I parried it. I guess it's because it moves and you hit it. That's funny. Stop it. Stop attacking me. But yeah, that's very good to know, you guys, because this is all good stuff. So another way you can use your abilities too on these targets is once you're clicked on them, you could either left click on the abilities down here. Right click I believe works too. Yeah, but I like to use left click when you're using your abilities down here. So I used to use my mouse so I can use my keyboard to move around while I fight, right? But some people like to use. So what if I don't use a mouse? I'm gonna put my mouse over here. See how there's numbers on these little things here, numbers? You could actually click, like, so this one says vexing blows on 3. So I click 3 on my keyboard, I'll cast it. See that? And if you notice, some abilities will say they have max targets, and that means they're an area of effect skill, which means, for example, if I do sweeping cut, I hit them both. See how I hit both of the dummies? Because it's in a big AoE, area of effect. So that's good to know too. So these are all real simple things. I know these are like extremely simple, but this is good stuff for people who are brand new to the game. So I hope this helps some people out who need this video. And again, you can do 1, 2, 3, use the numbers. These ones up here are different things. You know, control +1 to use this ability. If you really want to use, I would recommend just clicking with your keyboard. Again, you're probably wondering, where do I get these things right here? Well, again, if you go to options, you go to quick slots, you actually can say show bar 4. So see over here, I've got bars over here too. And you can change them depending on if you want them horizontal or vertical. Like, so bar 4, if I want to make it horizontal, see how it switched to horizontal? See if that helps. And then what do you want to move these around, right? It's actually control, oh gosh, this button. I'm trying to think what it is. It's the forward backward space button, and it's between the enter button and the backspace button on the keyboard. Ooh, it's a hard one to know. Here, I'll show you what button right now, or you're gonna be totally confused with me. Hold on, stand by. All right, and ta-da! There you go. You can see my buttons now, right? All right, so it's this button. So see how control lights up? Control this button. That's the one you use to bring up this, where it brings up all these crazy tabs. But then you can take your things and move them around. This is just a good thing to know, right? I don't want to have to send you to my other video to learn how to do that. So that's how you control that, right? There you go. Boom. Now you know how to do that. So guys, I hope that helps you out here. And again, please subscribe, like the channel, and you guys have a wonderful day in Lord of the Rings Online. And I'm your host and guide, Zillin Ironshield. And I hope that helps you know how abilities. Oh, and some abilities will need certain weapons too. So like, for example, if you have a shield ability, you might actually have to have a shield equipped to use it, like a shield bash or something. And you can't block without a shield equipped on any character. Alright, so that's a good thing to know too. And you can't parry without a weapon equipped. But you can always evade on your character. So that's a good thing to know too. But anyway, this is the thing on basic skills. Again, Roar's abilities usually are farther range too. And they taunt the target. Usually sometimes for my particular class. Every class is different, so it's hard. I could do a video on each class if you guys want me to. Let me know in the comments. But I really want to make this a very simple short video on just knowing how to do your abilities. How to click them. How to, you know, select the target. Use all the numbers, or use your mouse. I always recommend using your mouse to click them. I think it's easier. Occasionally, if there's someone you use a lot, you could put them on 1, 2, 3, and if it's close to your finger on the keyboard, you could just click it to get to it real quick, you know, and swing it. So, anyway, have a good one, guys. Thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe, like the channel. I'll see you guys later. And I'm your host and guide, Zillin Ironshield. Later.